Big Zeus, hit the people's house. Big Zeus, pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Yeah, supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Yeah, signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bags. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops. Power plays all day, I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Powers in the air.
Big Zeus.
We knocking on the door. Big Zeus. We wanna hear your song. Yeah. Who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People are them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall, they staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told, I will never ever fold. Trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true, all I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Love you all. Good morning. Even my haters, honestly, because they know what's up.
Sitting for the block, head buses make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Hey, fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap, I'ma bring it back. In the people's house.
You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Get on in here, grab a seat. Time to eat. All right, you know what I mean. Let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. We don't got all morning to do the Lord's work. Seriously. We really don't got all morning to do this.
It's like I'm stuck in time.
True.
It's like a curse. And I can't escape it. It's like deja
Let's
vu.
go.
It's me, Zeus. It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks.
Good morning. I see all of you. Oh, Teddy, stop it. You would never come up here and say that. Relax, chat.
It's like every week I gotta take out the trash.
I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass.
Cars in the garage, your tanks full of gas.
I play the game so raw, I won't
finish last.
Here goes.
Sitting in my living room,
Screaming how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous. True. The algorithm turns you to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my Zodiac. No, it's not a safe space for sheep. Cut it out, silly. Let's go. Good morning, Jewel. Nice to see you. Wow, looking nice. All right, here goes the Zeus haters right here. The Zeus haters. Here it goes. This is my favorite part, honestly. Here it
I'ma
goes.
take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live
Oh,
in a couple of days. That shit was
Keep it
radical.
clean, please.
It was
Snuggles.
horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh!
It's like deja vu.
Oh!
It's like deja vu.
Oh!
It's like deja
Still
vu.
off the rails. All right,
It's
all
like
right.
deja vu.
All right, well, you know what it means. I mean, welcome back to the show. I'll stay off the rails if that's what it takes to save this great country of ours. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I am your host. I'm your pilot. And you know exactly why we are here. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple, honestly. And you can ask Teddy Teddy must have woke up and he must know what I'm about to talk about because he's totally losing his mind in my comment section. But Teddy, I could care less. All right, I'll deal with you in just a second. Yeah. So I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? That's a great question. The first H is it's because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down. There's nobody more honest than I am. I don't like to sugarcoat things anymore. I think it's at a point now, especially with what's going on, where you just got to say what's going on directly. All right. So that's the first H. The second H, it's because I'm humble. We're all human, right? No one's perfect. And so I've learned over the years, if you get it wrong, you got to apologize, right? And so that's why I'm humble. I'm the most humble person. If I get it wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. Plain and simple. All right, so that's the second H. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all. It's because I am, and Eugene and Nutty and Q-Dog, they know this. It's because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Let's go. You see how I snuck that on you? You didn't see it coming. All right, good morning. All right, now many of you know exactly, good morning to all of you. You know exactly why we're gathered here this morning. We have to do the wonderful work, and it's difficult work, but it's thankless work. But we have to do the work that it takes to save this great country of ours. And, and I know the work we're doing, honestly, you don't give yourselves enough credit for it, right, Cindy? You guys don't give yourselves enough credit. Good morning, Brother Val. But you should, because what we are doing is bringing Donald Trump's poll numbers back to reality where they belong. And as all of us know, Donald Trump isn't doing that well. I could talk about his health if I want to, but he's not doing that well with his health. He's not doing that well with the country. He's not doing well with anything as far as I'm concerned. And so what we do is we highlight those things, right? And then we use it in a way to bring other voters into the fold, so to speak, and help them to understand that the worst thing you could do in this country is to vote for Donald Trump or any MAGA Republican who is hell-bent on destroying this. It was once a great country of ours, right? But if you vote for them, you're destroying America, all right? And so we don't want you to do that. And so we ask that you just sit down and listen and pay attention to the things that we're saying and always do your own research. But I want you to also pay attention to how I address these MAGA demons, right? And so what I'll say is this, and this is an adult-only situation. Do I have any Trump voters out there? Anybody out there still supporting Donald Trump? Is there anyone out there? Where are my blacks for Trump at? Where are my Latinos for Trump at? Where are they at? Any of y'all out there? Gigi said, hell no. I'm with you, Gigi. All right. Because what I want to do. Oh, little Teddy. Okay. Thank you. I forgot about little Teddy. You see how important he is? All right. W loving. All right. Loving smile. Thank you. Thank you for always rizzing the live up. Honestly, all of you rizz the live up like that. I'll say this. If you don't want Big Zeus to hurt your feelings, you might want to leave this live right now, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you. It will, especially if you're a Trump voter. I promise you it will, but get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now.
Yeah.
Come back if you want.
Yeah.
Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they have officially closed. I take no responsibility or accountability for what happens in here. The sparks are going to fly because we're getting into some real dangerous territory in this country, and someone has to honestly be the voice, a voice that articulates what's really going on. And I see, no, sir, you've made it back, and I hope you've at least acknowledged that some of the stuff we were talking to you about yesterday, brother, you really do need to process it. You really do need to meditate on it, all right? So that's a huge W. Zeus, I'm beating the drum. We're on the verge of the real Liberation Day. Now, I've been getting some feedback. People say, Zeus, good morning, Tara. Nice to see you, W. Tara, in the chat. They say, Zeus, why are you encouraging people to go into these stores and start stealing on November 1st? And I say, I'm not encouraging that. If anyone knows me, they know Big Zeus never encourages anybody to break the law. All right. But I'm calling it the real Liberation Day because I know with 100% certainty that come November 1st, a lot of MAGA voters, people who voted for Donald Trump, or maybe they voted for if you voted third party, I consider you a MAGA voter, right? Because you just should have voted for Kamala Harris, all right? It was a simple test. But if you didn't vote, you voted third party, or you voted for Donald Trump, I'm just calling you a Trump supporter, right? And we know right now that what's happening in America is we're about to see a huge 42 million Americans experience hunger like they've never experienced it in their lives. All right. And what this means, what I'm saying is the SNAP benefits are on the verge of running out. And the Republicans, honestly, they've done a great job. I got to give it to MAGA Mike Johnson and all the Republicans who've done an outstanding job convincing the Trump supporters the reason that they're starving is because of the Democrats. So I'll give the Republicans a huge round of applause. But that even though the rest of the world, with people who have brains, understand what's going on, those of us who have brains that understand what's going on, we know that it's not because the Democrat, it's because this guy right here has made it his mission since he's gotten into office to destroy the American people, in particular his supporters. He wants to destroy them. You remember when the Epstein files was a big thing and his voters, they've split from him. That's the day that Donald Trump said, I don't need any of the voters. And he called them panicans, right? You remember he called his own base panicans. He says, I don't need your votes anymore. So, and ever since then, he's been so mad at them that he's been taking it out on them in ways that they don't seem to understand. So he's definitely not giving his supporters. And you remember I had Scott up here. Scott, I'm still looking into that. I was so busy yesterday. I didn't get to look into your health insurance, but I'll look into it. But he doesn't want his supporters to have health insurance. He doesn't want his supporters to have FEMA. He doesn't want his supporters to have access to health care in terms of research that could cure cancer. He doesn't want them to have anything. He'd rather give it to Argentina. And this latest thing that he's going to make sure that every single one of his supporters starves to death. Yeah, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to enter the holiday season, Thanksgiving. And I said, could you imagine what all of his supporters that are on food stamps are going to be doing this Thanksgiving? Knock, 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 knock. Kabira is a Trump supporter, imagine. I'm just using you, Kabira, because you get it. Kabira, you're going to see Trump supporters. But can I come celebrate Thanksgiving with you? And all the other Democrats, we're going to start seeing Trump supporters knocking on our door. You too, sneaky fingers. Can we eat with you? Why? Oh, we were too ashamed to admit that we voted for Donald Trump and that he took our benefits away. And we're starving. And look at my kids' faces. And I'm going to look at this situation and I'm going to go, wow. This is what Donald Trump has done. You're not going to do it, Southern Delight. W Southern Delight. Southern Delight. She says she can't do it. So Donald Trump is going to force his supporters to knock on Democrat doors for food. You're going to be going to Democrat churches looking for food. You're going to be going to Democrat pantries looking for food. Yeah, you're going to be asking the communists, socialists, the radical left. You're going to be asking us for food. All right, and it's coming, Angus. It's coming, Angus, right? Yes, Antonio said they're not opening any doors. And so I want to give MAGA a message from their dear leader via the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins. And what she's doing is she's reassuring you all that Donald Trump is making sure that this November 1st, you don't have anything to eat. So listen to what Brooke Rollins has to say about the upcoming, this is the real Liberation Day. All right, this is the real Liberation Day where a bunch of Trump voters are going to be running around in these chain stores, Walmart, Target, Albertsons, you know them, and they're not going to be paying for food. I tell them don't do it, but what can you say to people when they're starving, all right? So this is the day when Trump voters are going to truly experience the golden age, and they're going to be forced to steal food in order to survive. This comes from Brooke Rollins.
Latest program to face funding hurdles during the government shutdown. More than 40 million Americans, roughly 1 in 8 people, could lose their benefits at the end of the month. Let's bring in the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, for more on this. Madam Secretary, thank you for being with us. Appreciate your time. So when you said you were in Pebble Beach, I thought you were in California. You're there in the Pebble Beach in front of the White House. Here's what the USDA said about the looming deadline here. Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program, also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. All that said, though, comes to a point, Madam Secretary, when people really start to hurt, that their attitude doesn't become one of blaming one side or the other. It's more a pox on both of your houses.
You know, hunger doesn't have a political party, right? Poverty doesn't distinguish between Republican or Democrat. Or blue or red states. It's real.
Real.
I think that the fact that the Democrats continue to vote over and over and over again to keep this government closed, now we are right at the cliff. And I've been warning about this for almost a month now, that we have enough money to get us through the end of October. But after that, the government has to reopen. And John, that's where we are right now. It is stunning to me. I don't understand what they're thinking. Well, I guess we know what they're thinking, because Catherine Clark in their leadership actually said, you know, we're going to use poor, vulnerable people for leverage. I mean, shame on them. It's absolutely disgusting. And hopefully we get this government open. But there's nothing we can do at this point. It's time to...
Wait a second. So she says there's nothing that she can do, MAGA. Think about this. This is Donald Trump's Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins. There's nothing she can do to stop you from starving, right? And what I like to do is this. Does anybody think we're a broke country right now? Does anybody believe we're a broke country right now? Does anyone believe we're so broke we can't pay for Trump voters to eat, and we can't pay for, you know, as they say, undocumented people to have access to health care, even though it's not true? But even if we could do, even if it was true, does anyone think we're so broke we can't do it? Because there's a guy, and you all know him, and he's been saying that we've been, from what he said, bringing in so much money. So, and I just wanted to double check.
Do it this quickly. It's a little bit more than 9 months. So in less than 1 year, we've secured commitments for over $18 trillion of new investments. As an example, the previous administration, in 4 years, they did less than $1 trillion. I think much less, actually. And hurt our country very badly. Who would have known?
Right.
But
you know who this guy is?
18, so I figure that we'll probably be at 20 or 21, maybe even $22 trillion of investments coming into our country by the end of the first year of my second term. And, you know, we had a tremendously successful first term. We had the strongest economy in history for our country, strongest we ever had. But this is, I think, blowing it away.
Blowing it away. Wow.
Great policy. We have some very good things happening. The stock market, as you know, is set 45 all-time highs since in a period of, it's pretty good, in a period of 9 months, breaking new records week after week, including one just yesterday. We set the record GDP growth in the second quarter. And that's with all of the things that we're doing. When they are built in a year and 2 years, we're going to go through the roof. I mean, we're going to see numbers that I don't think have ever been seen before.
Never.
But even during this period of a little bit of a period of transition, you could call it, because I think we're in an economic revolution in America.
All this money.
We went at 3.8%. We're up 3.8% GDP, triple and even quadruple the rate that a lot of people.
Yeah. Does any of you Trump voters feel like validating what Donald Trump has been saying just right now? 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe even $22 trillion that we've been bringing in just a record 9 months. The stock market, ladies and gentlemen, according to him, it's surging. It's numbers we've never seen before. Is there anybody out there that supports Donald Trump that could help us all understand how this translates into you starving? Right? All right? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm wondering, how is he seeing all this success and all this gold and all this money? I mean, they're eating steak and lobster, shrimp every day, but his supporters, for some strange reason, they can't seem to catch a break. I mean, they're losing their jobs. Last I checked, he's laying off government employees and firing them, cutting off their medical coverage and stuff like that. I mean, am I missing something? I mean, listen to this guy. He's talking about prosperity at levels I've never seen or heard before.
They thought that during this period that we'd be at a much lower rate. Some people predicted 1.5. We're going to be very close to 4. The next quarter, we're expected to be at about 4% growth.
Wow.
And after that, I mean, I can't even predict, because when
He can't even
all
predict.
of these factories that are moving in, the car plants are moving in. Yesterday I was with Mr. Toyota in Japan, and he's...
Does anybody know who Mr. Toyota? Does anyone know? Because I don't know where that came from, but he said, I guess some of the money's coming from Mr. Toyota. Does anybody out there know who Mr. Toyota is? Because I would love for you to bring them to me. Because if he's referring to, I don't know who he's talking about. Nobody knows who Mr. Toyota is. So this is, again, it's the onset of dementia. And I don't want to hear about Biden and the auto pen again until we address this incompetence that's coming out of the Trump administration directly from the top. He has no clue what he's talking about. All right. But he's talking about things that MAGA seems to support.
He's just announced he's going to spend.
Watch this part, though.
Spend $10 billion, and they're going to build new car plants, and they're going to build them in numerous states, about 6 or 7 different states. And we're bringing our car industry back. We're bringing AI. We're leading everybody in AI. We're leading every nation in AI by a lot. In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps. Wages for workers are rising.
In 9 months, he's lifted. Think about the psychology. He's lifted over 600,000 Americans off of food stamps in 9 months. Ain't that impressive, MAGA? 600,000 of y'all got lifted off of food stamps. And about 40 million of you are about to get lifted off of those food stamps come November 1st. By the way, I've heard this through the grapevine. And I heard if you got money on your card right now, you better use it. Because if you don't use it now, you'll lose it. All right, so he's lifting. I've never heard anybody talk about destroying their own people in a positive way, and it just makes me understand a little bit more why they continue to cheer on their own destruction. So what we'll do is we'll go back to Brooke Rollins, all right, encouraging MAGA to, look forward to real Liberation Day, because this is a message.
Vote yes and get things moving again.
Well, there are lawsuits to stop this from happening and concerns over people going hungry. The New York State Attorney General Letitia James said in a statement, SNAP is one of our nation's most effective tools to fight hunger, and the USDA has the money to keep it running. This is either it does or it does not statement. So, Madam Secretary, does the USDA have the money to keep this program should you choose to, or has the well truly run dry?
100% unequivocally, USDA does not have the $9.2 billion that it would require. There's not just pots of $9.2 billion sitting around. And what's particularly...
See, she's lying. She's lying because Donald Trump just said that there's trillions and trillions of dollars that he's been bringing in. So who is lying? Is Brooke Rollins lying, or is it your dear leader, MAGA? Which one is it? You can't tell me you got trillions of dollars, 22 trillion up to, and then you turn around when it's time to feed people. You're broke as a joke, right? I mean, and you know what I'll do? I'll prove to you that this is all just one big ruse. There was another point in the interview, and I'm going to jump right on ahead, and it has to do with importing beef from Argentina, all right? Now, a lot of us Americans, all right, and Thomas Massie, he's actually in Congress. He's a genuine Republican, in my opinion, because number one, he wants to release the Epstein files, but number two, he wants the beef that's made in the United States to be labeled beef from the United States. You could go look into that, but Donald Trump wants to import beef from Argentina, and I've already covered it before. We don't know the quality of that beef. You could end up catching foot and mouth disease, and you never know what can happen, right? But this is what Donald Trump wants to inject into the United States of America: beef from Argentina. And so Brooke Rollins does an outstanding job, in my opinion, defending Donald Trump to import beef from Argentina, while at the same time blaming the farmers for the issues with the beef in terms of the beef prices going up. And just listen to this. This is another example of MAGA being incompetent and just they always have somebody to blame. First you blame Joe Biden, first you blame Obama, Hillary Clinton, the Democrats, and now you're at the point where you're blaming the farmers, ladies and gentlemen.
Federation of Government Employees is the union that's imploring the Democrats to sign a clean CR. It doesn't look like the Democrats are going to take the advice, though. So they have, according to Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, taken it under advisement. I want to ask you about another issue, not dealing with the shutdown, Madam Secretary, and this is the proposal that the president has been talking about to bring in some 80,000 metric tons of beef from Argentina to try to get prices down. There's obviously a shrunken cattle supply here, which is the reason why prices here are going up. But a lot of these ranchers are feeling betrayed. Destiny Weeks, an Oklahoma rancher, said this: "It feels like a slap in the face to rural America. It makes you feel invisible and overlooked." And Justin Tappers, the president of the U.S. Cattlemen's Association, said a deal of this magnitude with Argentina would undercut the very foundation of our cattle industry. What do you say?
Watch her blame
cattle producers.
Watch her blame the farmers.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration on both sides. This president has made it very clear that his promise to bring the cost of living, cost of goods down, beef continues to go up. But then you marry that with you said it, John, we've got the lowest herd in 75 years. And there's a lot of reasons for that: drought, the screw worm at the border, we've had to close the ports, etc. But listen, those goals are not mutually exclusive. And just last week, we released a 19-point plan on how we rebuild the herd and what needs to happen to do that. The Argentina comment right now, we import we consume 12 million metric tons of beef every single year in America. 2 million of that 12 million we have long imported. So the idea of importing a little bit more Argentinian beef from about 20,000 metric tons to 40,000 or maybe 60,000 out of the total 12 million will not do anything to compromise our ability to rebuild that cattle herd. Wow. For anyone to say, and again, knowing the frustration that's there, but there has been no one who has been more resolute, who has been more passionate about supporting rural America, about supporting our farmers and our ranchers than Donald Trump. And we see that over and over and over again. We'll get to a good resolution on this. I've already talked to a lot of our ranchers. We feel really good about the direction that we're heading. We're going to bring the cost of beef down, and we're also going to make sure we can expand the herd and continue supporting these great American ranchers who really are the fabric of American life.
Yeah, to be clear, just some of the confusion I think that was caused with all of that was the president suggesting that the ranchers bring their prices down, and the ranchers said, this is the market sets the price of the beef. They don't control the price. I'll give you a final thought on that.
Yeah, well, here's the bottom line. In America, we have not a cattle ranching problem. We actually do have a processing problem. We have 4 major companies, 2 are foreign owned, that process about 85% of our beef in this country. We have to open the market.
Yeah. And so what you have, ladies and gentlemen, is an administration. She didn't mention anything about these tariffs, did she? Did she mention anything about the tariffs and how much devastation that's been doing to our farmers and our ranchers? Oh, you know what she just said? It's both sides. It's both sides. And then she blamed the border. She said, what's the border? Because they've been closing the border and they didn't understand that doing that also has an impact on the ranchers too. It's self-destruction. MAGA cheers on their self-destruction, and Donald Trump is more than willing to do it because he's an evil and sick person. And so what I'll do is I'll support them. Ladies and gentlemen, because I got to move on to my next topic, join me in warming up the lake of fire. Yeah. Zeus, well, who are you going to send to hell, Zeus? I mean, don't you just understand? Well, I'm going to send the ranchers and the folks who are on Snap that voted for Donald Trump, as well as Donald Trump and everybody in the middle. Where are you going to send them, Zeus? I'm going to send them straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA demon!
And this is where we're at as a nation, ladies and gentlemen. We're really at an inflection point where we really just have to call aces and spades, and I'm at a point now where I'm very, and people know me. They say, Zeus, you're so kind and you're so patient with Trump supporters. I don't know how you do it. And I said, I don't know how I do it, and I don't know how I've been doing it. But where I'm at right now is I'm very, very comfortable just being direct with Trump voters and helping them see the light. W Little Hawk, all right? And I appreciate that. What I'll do, let me look at the time. We got about 15 minutes, and then I'll open up the boxes, and I'll hear from whoever is brave enough to get up here and try to defend it. What we'll do is we'll let Lawrence O'Donnell. I haven't let Lawrence O'Donnell cook on the show for a minute because I don't know where he's been, but I think Lawrence O'Donnell has done an outstanding job illustrating how corrupt the Republican Trump administration how corrupt they are, especially when it comes to who is he? MAGA Mike Johnson. All right. So we'll let Lawrence O'Donnell explain to you all who MAGA Mike Johnson really is real quick, and we'll send him straight to hell. All right.
Donald Trump's name will not appear on a presidential ballot in any state, so we won't be covering the third term.
Thank you, Morning
And
Star.
we won't be talking about
He was in Africa
the
doing
possibility of a
humanitarian
third
work.
term because it's impossible. But Donald Trump wants us to talk about him running for a third term because it will distract from the Epstein files, and it will distract from the cruelty he is imposing on all fronts, foreign and domestic. Donald Trump taunted our first guest tonight with the idea of a third term in a meeting in the Oval Office when he offered Democratic leader of the House of Representatives Hakeem Jeffries a Trump 2028 hat and nothing else. And that is when the discussion was supposed to be about how do we solve and prevent a government shutdown,
Right.
and Donald Trump instead played with hats. That's the story Donald Trump wanted out there that day, the 2028 hat, instead of what was happening because of his shutdown of the government. And so every time Donald Trump says something insane about a third term, this program will devote no time to that subject. And we're not the only ones who don't want to hear about that subject that was a complete waste of time.
Here
The
we go.
Republican Speaker of the House made it very clear today that he fears the Trump third term. Speaker Mike Johnson made it clear that he doesn't fear Donald Trump actually serving a third term because the Speaker said today that that is impossible, and the Speaker is right. Hi, it's Mark Elias,
You hear
proud
that,
Democrat.
ladies and gentlemen? Mike Johnson is afraid of Donald Trump getting a third term. All right, hold on. We'll pay the bills. All right, we'll be right back. All right.
What Speaker Johnson really tried to do today was to stop the public talk of the madness of a third term for Donald Trump, because the Speaker obviously believes that the more crazy Trump and crazy Republican talk there is in Washington about Donald Trump serving a third term, the worse it is for Republicans trying to get reelected to the House of Representatives next year.
Yeah.
The number one job of a Republican Speaker of the House is to hold on to the House. That's it.
Yeah.
To hold on to the Republican majority in the House. For a Republican Speaker, holding on to power comes first, and any attempt
Yeah.
at any form of governing comes in a distant
Go ahead,
second.
Lawrence.
And so Mike Johnson believed that he had to say this today
Watch this.
as part of his strategy for Republicans to keep control of the House of Representatives.
The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that.
So there's a Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives who believes the more talk there is about Donald Trump serving a third term, the more likely it is that our first guest tonight, Hakeem Jeffries, will be the next Speaker of the House.
Now, what I'll do is this,
Republic-
ladies and gentlemen. So now that we know that that's what Mike Johnson is all about, I want to also layer that with some information about MAGA Mike Johnson, and you know who these ladies are. I always will play it when they say the truth about some of these folks in Congress, and I just want to get this on the record, and then we'll get straight to judgment.
They're embarrassing. These are not cool villains. These are complete dipshits. And the most worthless American on the planet right now is little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson.
Mike Grinder.
This guy, before he was Speaker of the House, spent an inordinate amount of time talking about homosexuals and porn, which I think is rather interesting. But we'll leave that up to the psychologists and psychiatrists to resolve. But one of his big overarching things is he's a big Jesus guy, and he's tight with the Lord. Even says on tape, God told me I was Moses, which is why we call him Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. Of course, the grinder is because in his home state of Louisiana, all over Elon Musk's website, there are lots and lots of sources that say that Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson has a little Grinder account, not to mention his roommate in Washington, D.C., an evangelical pastor that answers the door in his panties when Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson gets home from work. But I digress.
Wow.
Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson has become a gifted gaslighter. And he has press conferences all the time, you guys.
Yeah, this is
all the time. 2 or 3 a day. Here he is. Play the clip.
The Democrats are required to open the government.
We talked
They
about
keep
this.
saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't. Not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate.
Wow.
Not a bare majority. And so point number one, Democrat votes are required to open the government. Point.
Okay. What? This is a complete lie. The Republicans are in charge of every lever of government.
Yeah.
Completely every single lever. But I just want to say that every single day I get online and that little pipsqueak, Little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, is in front of the cameras propagandizing and gaslighting.
And that's what we got to help MAGA understand. Y'all are listening, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, they're listening to a guy he's in the closet, hiding behind religion, hiding behind Jesus, protecting P3DOs. And they are they're demanding the rest of America follow suit, but we won't do that. That's a huge W, Zeus. W, the I hip, all right? And there's another layer to this, and then we'll go to judgment.
That just did that. We need more of that all day, every day. Flood the zone.
I completely agree and point out that Mike Johnson, his entire adult career has protected one pedophile or another.
Oh.
This is not new for him.
Wow.
He protects pedophiles as a rule.
Tell them, Pumps, tell the listener, for new listeners, about his mentor.
Okay, so
This is
Mike
nasty.
Johnson
Nasty work.
was mentored by a guy that led the Southern Baptist Convention, and he had created a law school, and Mike Johnson was going to be the dean because he was such a pillar of the community. It was a theologically based law school, which how do you do that? Motherfucker comes out. He is sexually abusing kids at these conventions.
Wow.
And Mike Johnson, there was no way he could not have known.
Wow.
Full stop. This went on for decades. Mike Johnson was his little yes man. So Mike Johnson, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he digs it. I don't know if he has no moral conscience.
Both.
I don't know what his deal is, but I do know his adult career has been protecting pedophiles.
Here we go again.
His adult career, ladies and gentlemen, has been protecting P3DOs. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, because, we got to move it on, it is now time for judgment. Mike Johnson wants the government closed so that he can starve innocent children and he can run around in his negligee, you know what I'm saying, with his BFF, whatever you want to call him, in the name of Jesus. And they do this stuff in the name of Jesus, and this is why I get on you so-called Christians. And then on top of that, he has a history of just protecting P3DOs, and you can see that because that's why he's shutting the government down. He doesn't want to release those Epstein files, all right? Because if he does, not only will he be exposed, but all the P3DOs that he's been hiding and protecting would be exposed. And so what we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Let's go ahead and warm up this lake of fire, all right? Because somebody has to go to hell. It is true, Missy. Missy, and Missy, you're very sweet to me when I come into your space, and so I'll respect that. But please, Missy, Open up your eyes and stop letting the devil manipulate you and bamboozle you, all right? And in the meantime and in between time, anybody supporting Mike Johnson, do me a favor and go straight to hell.
Silence, you macadamia.
That's a huge W. Zeus! W, Tara! All right. Now, the next part of the show that I got to do, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to make a lot of white men feel very, very uncomfortable. So I'm going to give you a heads up. You MAGA white men, you so-called Christians, y'all could go ahead and leave. All right, but I'm going to once again do it. And I could get into trouble for saying it and doing what I'm about to do, but I'll do it. I'm going to introduce this. Does anybody know who this guy is right here? Does anyone know who this demon is right here? Let me get out of the way. All right, you see him? Definitely didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm going to read the headline and then I'm going to hit play. And then we're gonna really have a serious discussion in America about the dangerous white men in this country that keep running around. All right. And you know what? I'll just say this man snapped. Let's just say that he snapped. Isn't it funny he snapped as his snap benefits just might be on the verge of running out? Huh? Yeah. It's not me talking to you. It's God talking to you, W. Rick. So let's listen to what this MAGA demon did.
Experts said they uncovered a disturbing plot targeting synagogues in Alabama and neighboring states. Deputies tracked a lead to Choctaw County, arresting Jeremy Shoemaker. Right now, he's facing resisting arrest and illegal firearm possession charges. But federal agents are now involved, and more serious charges are expected. Our Claudia Nichols spoke with the Clark County Sheriff, and Claudia, the sheriff says Shoemaker was not just threatening synagogues.
Oh.
That's right, Cameron. Sheriff Dwayne Smith tells me Shoemaker was also planning possible attacks on several public figures whose names can't be released because of the ongoing investigation. Tonight, the sheriff says this arrest may have stopped a violent attack before it happened.
You always hear that question, well, what if somebody knew about this before it happened? We should have been able to prevent that. Well, people working together, that's what happens.
Tonight, investigators uncover multiple threats against Alabama synagogues and all this. Multiple weapons, more than a suitcase full of ammunition, body armor, and more found inside a home in Needham, Alabama in Choctaw County. Jeremy Wayne Shoemaker taken into custody. His
name is Jeremy Wayne Shoemaker. He's going after synagogues, right? Just look at those initials. Just the initials. I looked at those initials and I said, you can't make this stuff up. Jeremy Wayne Shoemaker. You know what those initials kind of spell like. You know what you could put a letter in there and then you got a new word, and this guy's going after synagogues. And I thought about it and I said, well, isn't it funny? He's not does this look like a Democrat? Does this look like a Democrat? Does this look like somebody that voted for Kamala Harris? Does this look like somebody in the LGBTQ plus community? Or is this the same suspect that went after Donald Trump at the Butler incident? The same suspect that CK, Charlie Kirk, same suspect, the one that it was in Idaho, Brian Kohlsberger, unaliving 4 innocent college students, the same usual suspect. And they want me to focus on Zeus, what's the biggest accomplishment of the Trump administration? Oh, he closed the border. What's your issue with the border? Well, we got to know who's coming in. No, we don't need to know who's coming in. We got to already start looking at who's already here, W. Zeus. You got to start looking at who's here already. Who has a history of terrorizing people all over the world? This usual suspect. I've seen these people running around. I seen an ICE agent tear his ACL the other day. It was so funny, his ACL. He tore his ACL trying to go after immigrants and stuff like that. And I say, that's God's judgment. And so what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's the enemy within. All right? It's the enemy within. Hold on. Let me get this going again. It's the enemy within.
Describes the arrest and says Shoemaker did not plan to be taken alive.
He had planned to shoot it out with the police But due to tactics, he was unable to do so.
Wow.
Now, he did sustain a few scratches, as you can probably see in his mugshot. But that was due to the resisting that he did once the arrest was effected.
A white bandage above Shoemaker's eye and scratches on his face indicate a struggle with deputies. Smith says what they found inside the home was disturbing.
He had stockpiled some ammunition. Some of it was old, some of it was new. He had a newly purchased assault rifle.
Wow.
He had extended magazines, which were loaded. And the way that the ammo was fixed is like he was ready to go and utilize it somewhere.
Smith emphasizes this was a joint operation with multiple federal agencies and local police departments. The FBI and the 1st Judicial Circuit Special Response Team are also assisting. Court records show
And so with that,
Shoemaker's bond was raised from...
ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the ultimate point of my monologue where it's really time for God's judgment to be unleashed on this show. This is what I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest threat to this great country of ours is sitting right there underneath our nose, gaslighting us all into believing it's you. It's you know what I say? These people, they're always the ultimate victims, right? It's typical white guy, doesn't feel like they're getting a fair shake in America. And so they've painted themselves into this position where they're the victims, right? They're doing all the violence, but you know who's the problem? Hillary Clinton. Yeah, what did she do to you? You never met her. She's a Democrat. Who else? Bill Clinton. What did he do to you? Well, you know the Monica Lewinsky thing. Well, you have a problem with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, but you voted for Donald Trump, who has allegations by 26 women for SA. And you know what he did with Stormy Daniels. You know what he cheated on all of his wives. You heard what he said about his daughter. You ain't got no smoke for that, but you got all the smoke in the world for Bill Clinton. I mean, these people are sick. You got smoke with Obama. What did Obama do? Did Obama cheat on his wife? No. Did Obama get a divorce? No. What on earth did President Obama do that got you in your feelings? He wore a tan suit. Oh my gosh, give me a break. These are some of the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen in my life. And you can take as much creatine as you want and get on the internet and start yelling. That doesn't make you a man. It makes you weak. You know, these people are so weak. What did Kamala Harris do to you? She went on CBS and they edited her interview. Oh, the pain, agony. I should be able to sue her for all this money. I mean, these are some of the weakest people I've ever seen. And I don't follow weak people. All right. And I don't think anyone should. And then who do you listen to? Grinder Mike Johnson, who answers the door after he gets off work in his negligee. His boyfriend answers the door in their negligee, and they pretend like they're not living in sin when they clearly are living in sin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I do this, and I could get into a lot of trouble, but somebody has to say what I'm saying, all right? Enough is enough. Join me in sending these Trump voters, these hypocrites, these demons who have been unleashed upon America using nothing but pure ignorance and propaganda by their dear leader, Donald Trump. Join me in sending them straight to hell. I don't care.
Silence!
Yeah.
You knocker demon!
And that's a huge W. That's a huge W, Zeus. And to the guy in the background, I forgot to remind you what your dear leader thinks of you.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And that goes for every single Trump voter out there. All right, now let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and open up the boxes and move on to another part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we get to at least, address the elephants in the room, so to speak. So I want to ask the audience, are there any Trump voters out there that are brave enough to get in the box? Come on up here. Send me a send Big Zeus a guest request. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to field some of the questions. And I know they're in here because I post videos and they get in my videos and they just leave some of the most ridiculous comments. And I go, where was all this energy, right? Pull your big rigs over. I don't want to talk to you when you're driving. Pull the big rigs over. And get up here and have some very adult discussions with the American people. I want you to convince me right now that I don't need that the American people, 40 million people, They don't need those SNAP benefits. And blame the Democrats while you're at it. Why don't you do that, MAGA? I would love to hear. Big Mike and her husband are in big trouble. I don't. Ray, I have no clue. I have no clue who Big Mike is, Ray. But whatever you got going on Grindr, keep that to yourself. I don't care what you're doing on Grindr. I accept it. But here's the thing, Ray. Just admit it. You're into that. Just admit it. And I think this is and I can probably imagine Ray. He's probably like MAGA Mike Johnson. He probably when this show, probably while the show is on, Ray's probably watching me in his negligee. I mean, there's never anything that's going to happen, Ray. But because I get it why you would lust after Big Zeus, but it'll never happen. But listen, own it. I could probably hook you up with somebody who's into that stuff. All right, and I can do that because I used to be the love guru. And but Ray, whatever you and Big Mike and his husband got going on, keep that to yourself. That's a huge W, Zeus. Ray, you're a disgusting creature. Does anybody know? I don't know who Big Mike is, honestly, and then their husband. I'm like, Ray, what is that, like a triangle relationship or something? That's crazy, bro. And you admitted that on a Wednesday morning. We know what Ray likes. How do you like your coffee, Ray? Extra black, extra dark. Because you know what he like. He like that dark meat. Let me open. Anyone else out there? Put a 1 in the chat. All right. Put a 1 in the chat. All right. Yeah. Ray wants some of that dark chocolate. I get it. All right. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Yeah, I know the demon, and he comes in under a different account. This is, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't seen him, but this is Snuggles. And
what's going on, brother?
Yeah. Long time no see. You've been sitting at the feet of Zeus for years.
No, I haven't been. We're just winning. You guys are complaining, whiny little bitches. It's okay.
Wait. Now I don't do the cursing, man.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Are you doing okay though? Personally, are you doing okay? Because I want to make sure I address you from a humanitarian standpoint.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing okay. I'm going through a few things, but I'm doing all right.
So, can I ask you a question? And then now that we got that out of the way, how do you feel about 40 million Trump voters, perhaps, on their way to losing their food stamps?
Oh, if only the Democrats can vote. We voted to open there's 55 votes to open the government. You guys have failed 10 times. When are you guys going to open them up?
Okay, so why are we not opening it up then? If you think it's us, do you think the Democrats are in control right now?
You guys got to open it up. We already voted to open the government. 55 votes.
Yeah, but do you?
So you guys are crying about something that you're not gonna.
Well, what are we crying about though? If you believe that,
you're crying about something that's going to expire by the end of the year. The health
insurance.
That expires at the end of the year. You guys can debate that. Open the government for the people.
Yeah.
You guys look stupid. Honestly.
You think we do?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys are the ones holding back.
Here's the
thing.
We
voted yes, open the government. Do you understand what voting is?
No.
Do you understand?
No.
Yeah, because you put Kamala through without voting.
You call her. You can't even say her name.
You guys don't understand what voting is all about, right? Did you guys get Kamala through?
Can we have our conversation? Because you're losing it. You're losing it. All right. So
no, go ahead.
I just kind of want to know: are you in support of those 40 million getting the SNAP benefits or not? Yes or no?
Yes, I'm in support of them.
Okay, and are you also in support? Are you in support?
So we're all supporting that.
Are you all also in support of the millions of Americans? 20 million still keeping the health insurance that's supposed to expire at the end of the year. Are you supporting?
Yes,
the Democrats?
we're in support of that, but we're not in support of Democrats not voting. That's all.
Okay. Are you also aware that Trump has said we are bringing in record profits?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the money then, right?
We have the money, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So what has Donald Trump done in the last 24 hours that you're aware of to open up the government then?
Waiting for you guys to vote, yes. That's what voting is about.
So the answer is nothing.
Congress is what opens the government, but Congress, not the president.
No, so Donald Trump, so you're saying Trump is powerless?
Congress is what you need for votes to open the government.
I get that, but is Trump powerless?
Can you acknowledge that? Can you acknowledge that?
Yeah, you need.
So why are you voting no? Why are the Democrats voting no?
Because there's an issue that transcends the moment we're in right now. That honestly, the Republicans do not have a track record of being trusted. Right? We can't trust them on anything. They've been lying.
Voting yes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
They've lied about everything.
Okay. What are we lying
us
about?
They're giving you fake data about the state of the economy, right? They fired
Okay.
the person that was giving us accurate information about unemployment, right? Unemployment's
Can
on the
you
rise.
show me
by the-
that? Can you
Yeah,
show me the
yeah,
lies?
yeah, yeah.
Show me the fake data, please.
They're pushing narratives like people shouldn't
Show
take
me the fake
Tylenol. Hold
narrative. Show
on.
me the-
They said people
show me
shouldn't
it.
take Tylenol, and they're linking it to autism and stuff like that. And they're lying and saying they don't have money, but Donald Trump is saying that they have money. So
Okay.
in order to solve this, we need Congress with Donald Trump, the master negotiator, the one who claims he's ended 9 conflicts. And he lied about that, by the way. They need to sit down and do the right thing and start working for the American people.
Right. We voted yes. Do you understand what votes mean? We
Yeah,
voted
I
yes.
understand what it looks like.
Why can't the Democrats open the government and debate over the issues?
I'll tell you why. Because of the Epstein files.
Oh, okay. So we're going to go on that. So you don't.
Well,
care
that's
about-
why the House is closed.
Right, you don't care about the 40 million people. That's
No.
what you're admitting to. You want to know
Snuggles.
Epstein files over
Yeah.
40 million people. So don't
Why-
question me about my thoughts on 40 million people that
Let
don't
me
have.
ask you an honest question. Wasn't the House closed before the shutdown?
What?
Wasn't the House closed before the shutdown happened?
Was the House closed before the shutdown happened?
Yeah, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, well, you might want to look into that because I don't want to get you.
Well, the House.
catch
I
you
mean,
off-
I think the House voted 10 times on the clean CR bill, didn't they?
Yeah, but I'm saying to you,
And the Democrats keep saying no, didn't they?
Snuggles, listen up.
What?
Listen to what I'm saying. The House
You-
was
The whole
closed.
point of this, bro.
The
really
House
quick.
was closed, Snuggles. So just acknowledge that. Why was the House closed?
Because they voted 10 times. Why
No,
did they need
because
to
of the
vote?
Epstein files. Why
Right.
hasn't? Remember? So when you
Trump's
start,
not on the
so
Epstein
so
file. Trump's
so-
not on the Epstein file, bro.
huh?
Trump's not in the Epstein files. You guys would have found that during Biden, during his auto pen years.
Snuggles,
You
this
guys
is
don't
bad for you.
understand where
Snuggles,
it's bad for you because it's worse for you because you guys didn't bring it up back then.
Snuggles, I thought you've been learning.
Director
That's why
Ray,
you've been missing. I thought you were
Garland,
missing.
AG
Snuggles, I thought you were
Garland didn't
missing
get it
because you were
out. You
actually
guys
trying
are
to learn
with-
something. But Snuggles,
No.
you haven't learned a thing.
No, I'm just spitting facts. You guys
Okay.
should have had that out
Okay.
when you were in office.
Okay,
When Biden,
so let me say this to you, and then if you accept it, I'll keep going. But if you can't accept
Okay.
it, then we're done.
Go ahead.
Are you aware that Pam Bondi in May met with Donald Trump and told him he was all over those files? Yes or no?
No, she
Oh.
didn't say that.
Okay. Well, Snuggles.
Can you give me a recording that she said that out loud?
Huh?
Give me a recording
No,
that she said that.
an evil,
I looked that up. I didn't find her saying that on the news. Give me a recording. That
an
says-
evil and adulterous situation. An evil and
Exactly.
adulterous.
You lost.
An evil and adulterous generation looks after a sign. Zeus, give me a sign that Pam Bondi said that. You can go look it up. Ask ChatGPT. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Snuggles. Nothing else needs to be said other than Snuggles, do me a huge favor. And I did this in front of your friends because I know they're listening and watching this. Join me, everyone, in sending Snuggles right back to the pits of hell where he came from, straight to hell.
Silence, you macadamia.
Just a friendly reminder. Everything that Snuggles said, ladies and gentlemen, was a lie. All right? The Democrats aren't shutting the government down. What we're doing is we're standing on principle. We're standing on business and saying, hey, this issue about healthcare, the quicker we can address this and resolve this, the quicker we can get to opening up this country and addressing that CR, because it's not a clean CR. All right. So that's another lie you got to stop repeating. And the second thing is this: Donald Trump is all over those Epstein files. That's why the House was closed. That's why Mike Grinder Johnson has been sending them on extended vacation. These people are getting paid and not doing any work. Snuggles, I would encourage you to go look at Marjorie, and I call her Marjorie Trader Green, but go look at Marjorie Taylor Greene's X account over there on Elon Musk platform and look at what she's writing. She is going directly at MAGA Mike Johnson for this government shutdown and for the fact that the Republicans, they don't have any solution when it comes to healthcare, because guess what? The Republicans, all they want to do is take away your healthcare, and that's a huge W, Zeus. I want to talk to folks kind of who can be reasonable and agreeable. And when you get to a place like that, they don't have the ability to be agreeable. It just makes it a lot worse. Good morning, Texas. TJX Design. How can I help you?
Yeah, hey man.
Hey.
Hey, are you willing to talk to me a little bit?
Are you a Trump voter?
Y'all say I'm a Make America Great Again person.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you. So where are you located?
All right, yeah, these other ladies kicked me off their panel because I was too liberal, or I guess I was too in the middle for them.
Okay. Oh,
I
I
either
don't
have
know.
to be an extreme or they won't talk to me.
Well, let's see how this goes.
All right, man.
All right. So, what brings you to the show this morning? How can I help you?
Yeah, I just want to talk about these talking points I heard you discussing about the healthcare and Epstein files, all this stuff.
Okay. What is the issue?
Well, first off, I think you saying that it's the Republicans that are keeping the government closed is wrong.
Okay.
When it's absolutely, the fact that we need 60 votes in the Senate.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'll give you this, that they are purposefully keeping this CR in the Senate and not bringing it back to the House. And the reason for that is because they want to, they were trying to pass
I
this
think I get where you're
30
coming.
days ago. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think I get where you're coming from. So, you're saying in your world that this is a Chuck Schumer shutdown. That's kind of where you're at?
No, those words didn't come out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, ultimately,
what I'm saying
because
is
I don't
that
got all day to
the
get to that point.
Democrats.
I don't got all day to get to the point, and you're dragging this along and like.
No,
well,
okay. What point do you want me to make?
Yeah, I mean, just say what your position is, right? Do you believe
My position is that they would have, if they would have passed this when it was placed, and this is the same exact bill that was already approved. If they would have passed this when it was placed, we would have had time to bring the House back and negotiate.
Okay, that's
and
your
you're saying I heard you say, it's about the Epstein files. They put the House in recess before we went in the shutdown. Yes, of course they put the House in recess as soon as they passed the bill.
Yeah.
Before the shutdown, but they would have put the House in recess either way.
Huh?
They would have put the House in recess because they passed a bill.
Okay, so the way I look at it is that sounds cute and all, right? But I know a couple of things. I know that the Republicans are currently in charge of all three branches of the government, correct?
Right. Okay, that's a talking point that I keep hearing. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not a talking point. It's fact.
Oh, that's a fact. You're right. I mean, facts can mean nothing and something at the same time.
No, they're relevant and they're a part of.
It's a irrelevant fact.
Why are we?
Because they still need 60 votes in the Senate.
Yeah. Okay. So why can't they figure out a way to negotiate with the Democrats and get an easy resolution to this? Don't you think
what Democrats? Are you talking about Democrats in the Senate or are you talking about Democrats in the House?
Well, obviously we got to talk about the ones that are in the Senate, but ultimately it's going to impact the House. The issue is these credits, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, what's so hard about saying, all right, let's just extend the credits and reopen the government? That's not a difficult position to take.
The reason that's so hard is because they are trying to limp along a broken program.
What? No. That's not
what
the
are
majority.
The credits for? What's the point?
Health insurance. We're talking about. Listen, we're talking about millions of Americans risking their health insurance premiums going maybe double or even triple. All right.
Right. But why were the credits there in the first place?
Because of the C-19 situation, right?
No, they actually happened before that.
They added it during the C-19.
They were extended during the C-19.
Okay, so they were added during the C-19 situation, all right, and they were helped to subsidize the premiums. So we're looking at that, and then what we're dealing with is this: you got Americans in a bit of a pickle. We got high grocery prices. Things, inflation is going up. Right, even though they were promised they would go down. Energy costs are going up, even though they were promised they would be going down. And all we have from the Republicans is, well, let's just let the CR pass the way it is, and we'll talk about it all the way up until December when it becomes a real serious issue. And as I was explaining to the previous guest, the credibility right now is the biggest issue for the Republican Party. Why How could anybody trust them on anything? Their word means absolutely nothing.
It's the same for
Especially,
the Democrats, though.
No, because the Democrats aren't in control. Remember,
Okay.
and it's been the Democrats that have been about getting you health care. It's the Democrats that are the reason you got SNAP benefits.
Right, but
all
the
right. So
problem
we
with
know
the-
what a Republican. Hold on. We know that if it was up to the Republicans, you wouldn't have health insurance and you wouldn't have SNAP benefits. We know that. They don't represent. That's not their party. That's not what their platform's all about. Their platform is all about power and control. Well,
Okay, so I think you're wrong on that account.
no,
I don't
no.
think
Well,
that
okay,
they are
well, let me ask you
okay,
this:
listen,
what is the
listen,
Republican
listen.
Party's? What is the Republican Party's solution for health care?
To push it back to the states. The problem that we
No.
have,
No.
the problem that we have is that the federal government has too much going into the societal problems. You know, where
So we're helping
the federal
to,
government
we're,
was
we're
only
helping
supposed to protect liberty.
Okay.
And not be a crutch for the American people. The states have a responsibility.
Do you say that to
The
Elon?
local communities have
What
a
do you say about
responsibility.
Elon and him getting money from the government? You don't
Okay,
say
so
anything
now we're
about
going
that.
into
What do you say
wait,
about
wait.
Donald?
Now you're getting into billionaires, and I'm
No,
not
no.
saying I agree with that either.
What about
I will
Trump
say-
getting money? What about Trump making all this money off the government?
I would
mean,
say
that's
anybody making money off the government is wrong. Any government, any overbloated federal government is wrong, and we need to get rid of it.
okay.
We
so-
cannot
so-
rely
so-
on our federal government to have that much control over
Okay.
people.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? There was
Uh-huh.
the Great Depression, and
Right.
if I understand this correctly, I could be very wrong. As a result of that, we got some of the social safety net programs we currently have, right? So there was a need.
Well,
and
during the
hold on.
1970s.
So as far as I'm concerned, these programs reflect the will of the people. You get what I'm saying?
No.
No, because that's how they. No.
First off,
You weren't here. I wasn't
we
here.
had- no,
Hold
no,
on,
no,
hold
listen,
on.
listen.
You
Okay,
you weren't
go ahead.
here. I wasn't here during that period of time. But I understand that laws had to be passed in order for these programs to exist. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is these programs that you are now attacking, they reflect the will of the people, maybe at that point in time, but they are programs designed to help Americans. And
Can I
you
talk
can
for a second?
you can say you don't like it or not, and that's your opinion. But we got to be accurate.
No, can I talk for a second?
If you're going to be accurate and agree,
I will be accurate. I'll be
okay.
accurate.
So they reflect the
Okay,
will of the people.
Couple points. All right. You said during the Great Depression, which was a worldwide, kind of like the pandemic, a worldwide problem. All right. When we have circumstances that require it, then temporarily a government might want to step in. How many years ago was the Great Depression? It was over almost 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But your point of these social systems that we're discussing today
yeah.
don't go back to the Great Depression. We're talking about the fact that we had a lot of poverty in the United States during the 60s and 70s.
We still have a lot of poverty.
People, okay.
And that's why these
Let's
programs.
talk about
That's
that
why.
let's talk about that in a second.
Hold on,
because
hold on.
I'll get to that.
Hold on. So
Okay, go ahead.
I think. What do you do for a living? Because what I'm sensing right now is there's a disconnect. All right, and a lot of these programs, believe it or not, a lot of Trump voters rely on them. And this is this is the most mind blowing conversation that
Can
I've
I
had.
answer your question?
Well, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, so I'm retired military.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. I assume you're being genuine. Now, what do? You just live off the retirement and Social Security?
No, I still work. I don't live. Okay. Here's the thing with me, because on my principle, that's wrong. To just live off of a system like that is wrong.
What if you can't work?
If I'm able-bodied, I will work.
No, but there's a lot of people who are working and it's not enough money. All right, and I've already addressed that before on another show.
Yeah.
I think about 40% of Americans are working, but it's not enough money, and they need these assistance. They need these programs.
Right. I'm not saying we shouldn't have social programs. What I'm saying is that
you
put
just
that
said
on
we
the
shouldn't have
federal
it.
government.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said the federal government should not be the one holding these programs. It should be on the communities and the state. The problem that we have is
Okay,
that we
so let's
are
let's
putting
let's
the federal
let's
the weight
let's
on
use
the
that
federal
logic.
government
Let's use that
first.
logic real quick. What if the community
Okay.
itself doesn't have the resources?
Then
Because
you
a
go
lot
to
of
the state.
no,
Okay,
and the reason
would
and
you
the
let
reason
me
that I say that
answer?
the reason that I say that is there's a difference
Yes.
between the economies of like blue states that tend to support a lot of red states, and I don't know if you're aware of that dynamic, but there's a lot of poor
Wait.
states in the union.
Hold on.
Are you aware of that?
No. What I'm aware of is that there's more blue states than red states that are in a deficit on their budget.
Yeah, but that's in
So
my
how
opinion.
is that
in-
possible?
in my opinion, you need to do a little more soul searching. For instance, I live in the California, and I would say putting California.
Yeah,
up
but you're
against-
in a deficit right now.
But guess what? We still actually support red states, all right? And you don't even understand the nature of that deficit. A lot of it's tied to pension plans and projects, all right? That's just what it says on the books. But the allocations that actually get paid out annually, that's completely different ball game. What I'm trying to get you to understand
Okay, so
is
if
this.
a
Hold
state
on.
can't-
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason that it's a situation now where the government is involved is because the idea you had, right? Well, why don't we just leave it up to the communities? Obviously, during the Great Depression, it didn't work, if you know what I'm saying. So we understand that
That was
country,
a
hold on.
worldwide economic crisis. That is not a normal situation.
Okay, but again, it elevated to a national level, and it was addressed nationally, whether you want to agree with it or not. It was addressed nationally. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so this is what we're dealing with right now. A lot of people. Okay, and I want to get back to the point where you said you don't believe people should be able to get these benefits. Is that what I heard you say?
No.
Okay, so you have no problem with people being able to reap the benefits of living in the most powerful country on the planet, right? Whether it's through the SNAP program or whether it's through getting access to affordable health care, right? You shouldn't have a problem with that.
I grew up in a single mother household where we had to rely on assistance from our local and federal systems. So I am not without empathy here on what it means to be poor. As a matter of fact, I knew nothing but poor living until I went out and joined the military. So I am on board with the fact that we need programs, and I'm a Christian, and I believe that it's our Christian duty to take care of each other.
Right.
What I'm saying is that I am also an American that believes in the fundamentals of this nation, and I believe that we would never have wanted a federal government in the place it is right now when this nation was started. Our federal government, our federal branches were only meant to protect the liberty of its people. And the states' rights are what we were advocating for. We have a very flipped system. We have a system where the federal government is the primary source of social security, and the states and community are secondary. And we need to flip that.
Okay.
Our local communities need to be pressured to do more.
Okay, so here's my issue. Here's my issue with this.
Okay.
That sounds very therapeutic, but I understand that the system that you're trying to generate and create, it would be totally overwhelmed by the current needs of what's currently what we're dealing with, right? And it wouldn't work. So we're going to go ahead and say, thank you for suggesting that to me, but it's not going to work. The other thing is this. You said that you're a Christian, and I'm listening to this, and you said things like, well, the country wasn't meant to be the way that it's ran. And I'm going, well, what do you think about Donald Trump and what he is doing now? Running this country basically like it's a monarchy in a way, right?
Well,
he's helping
if somebody
himself.
has a brain, they're not going to fully agree with either with
So the
everything
Christian,
somebody
the
does.
Christian,
I'll say,
hold on, the Christian.
can I
angle-
answer your question?
Well,
Can I just answer your question?
You said, what if
Please.
somebody has a brain?
No, can I just answer the full question and then
Because I want
take what I'm saying
I
in
want
context.
to add this. You said you're a Christian, but I'm going. Trump is basically the Antichrist. So, do you see there's an issue?
I think you're stretching something there. But first off, I do not agree with everything Trump does. For instance, I'll say this. I
knew you were
believe we
gonna say
need
that.
immigration. We need immigration if you understood how immigration worked in this country for
no one's
many
saying,
many years, then
no one's
then
saying we don't need immigration, but what we don't
I'm
need.
making a point that I agree with some of his things, but not everything.
So do you
I don't
like?
agree with having a federalized police.
Okay, so you don't like seeing ICE slam innocent women on the ground and children zip tying them.
No, I think we created that situation.
Okay, but you voted for this guy. He said he was going to do it, and you
I
voted
never
for
said
it.
I voted for this guy.
Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't want to vote for Project 2025, but I also did not want to vote for Democratic Socialists of America. So I represent half the country that chose not to choose one extreme or the other.
Yeah, okay. And so maybe you didn't hear me at the top of the show. When I do this show, I aim it at Trump voters.
Okay, that's great.
Hold on.
But
And hold on. I was in the middle of making. I was making a point.
Okay, good.
I aim it at Trump voters, and in my opinion, Trump voters come in many different shapes and sizes. One, they run around and they say MAGA, 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 MAGA.
Okay.
2, they voted third party. 3, they didn't vote. So
I voted third party.
Yeah, so this is why I say you did something to me that's just very egregious, unpatriotic, and you labeled.
I voted third party. I'm a veteran of 20 years in the military, so I'm unpatriotic.
Yes, because what you had was the ability to check yourself, and you labeled Vice President Kamala Harris something that she's clearly not. You have no evidence to support that she's any of that.
Who said? I did not label her anything. Who said that?
What was your opinion about the Democrat Party again? You said what? Communist socialists? You
I
just said
didn't
that.
say Kamala. I said I didn't want to vote for Democratic socialists.
Yeah. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you didn't vote for the Democrat Party, the Democrat candidate.
Right.
Correct?
I didn't vote for Democrats or Republicans.
So I'm not going to sit here and break down what you meant to say and translate it into your actions. You got to do that on your own. But your behavior, and I'd hate to say it because you may have served this great country of ours, but you're showing me that you are a very unpatriotic
What was
person.
my behavior? I voted?
You didn't. You voted for the wrong person.
Oh, that's a terrible way to look at things.
Yeah, right. And the reason
you voted for the wrong person.
Yeah, because when I'm listening to your logic, I'm going, okay, everything you're saying makes absolutely no sense, number one. And then you're up here, defending Donald Trump, and then when I get you to actually, put a little meat on the bone.
I never defended Donald Trump. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, you said things that made me think you did. How about that?
Well, that was your assumption. I don't understand how your assumptions were my fault.
Yeah.
You assumed a lot. I said I was in favor of making America great.
No. Let's just stop. That part.
Well,
That's enough.
I'm wondering why you have a problem against somebody that would have voted third party.
And I'll say this, and then you know what? I'm exhausted. All right, because you could have came up here and just been straight up and said, "Hey, I didn't vote for Trump, but this is my position," and we would have had this conversation in a different way. I don't want anyone to waste their time talking to you. And I'll say this: you're a very confused. You're a very, very confused individual. And you get hold on. You get off coming up here trying to ask curious questions about stuff.
No, I'm wanting to have a logical debate. How is that a problem?
Huh? You can't
How
debate.
is wanting to have a logical debate?
Because you can't debate anybody who's being illogical. You get what I'm saying? And I can't debate somebody who's being illogical. Right. So you got up here and you bashed the Democrats about the government being shut down, which is a MAGA position, right? And whether you want to acknowledge
that can be a third party position.
Which to me, and didn't you hear me just say? Didn't you just hear me say it's equivalent to being a MAGA position? I need people who are clear-minded, who are understanding the gravity of the dangers that's currently facing this country.
Clear-minded.
No. Listen to me.
Listen
to me. All right. And I got to say this. You're not that intelligent.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
You're not that intelligent. All right. And at best, you might know how to read. But what I need you to do is practice comprehending the information that you are reading.
Bro, those
no,
are
and I'm not your
baseless accusations
yeah. Well,
right there.
and guess what? I'm not your brother. We don't got the same mother.
Okay.
We don't got the same mother. And guess what? What are you?
Wow,
about to
you were resorting
Yeah.
to like anger right now. Why am I angering you?
Why are you angry?
I don't
I'll tell you-
understand why this is angering.
Hold on. You didn't make me do something I didn't normally do. Okay, but let me get you going, all right? Let me get you going. Let me go ahead and warm up this lake of fire for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have we have
The
a MAGA
Christian
demon. We have a
veteran is
MAGA
going to
demon.
hell.
We have a MAGA demon up here, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in sending this demon where he belongs. Straight to hell, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Silence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, but and I'll just say this about that previous guest. He's a danger to himself and his family, his community, because he's convinced himself that he's, they call it virtue signaling. Oh, well, I voted for the lesser of two evils, or I voted for the candidate that I believe reflects my values. Well, the stakes were very high this previous election cycle, and you really only had two choices. And I know what it is. You couldn't bring yourself to vote for a black woman. And now you're running around here on TikTok trying to get people to feel sorry for you, or at least look up to you, but it's just not going to work. So that's a huge W, Zeus. And I don't got time for it. Move it along, ladies and gentlemen. Move it along. What a huge disgrace, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't make this stuff up. Oh, my gosh. Who do we got next? W, Jim, welcome to the show. How are you doing, Jim?
Good morning, my friend. I got summoned by a bunch of folks. Hey, I just want to ask you a question. When you're in the military and you go into service and you're infantry and you're a private, who's above you?
I don't know the ranking.
Everybody else, because that private doesn't call the shots, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
the E4's above you, the sergeant's above you, the staff sergeant's above you, the commanding officers are above, everybody's above you. And that's how government works. There's a hierarchy, a ranking. So if we want to take it from his perspective, and as a military man, like, he should have known this, but I digress. So if the federal government supersedes the state governments, right?
Yeah.
Then the federal government has a responsibility to do what?
Enforce their laws.
And to protect the
states.
The people. Exactly. And what is our country called?
That would be the United States.
Oh my gosh, it's almost
Add the
like
America.
you put in the name.
Oh my God, add the America part. W, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for reminding us of that.
So for everybody else in here, and let's take a moment just to support Zeus here for a moment. Zeus, take a big deep breath in through your nose. Hold for 4 seconds.
hold
and
it.
blow out. Yeah, you got to hold out and then you got to blow out. Blow all
There
that
you go, Jim.
negativity out.
There you go.
Repeat that 3 times every single day when you're having to listen to stupidity like that. Third-party voters, by the way, and I'm so glad you brought it up. Third-party voters are far worse than MAGA because it meant that they were sitting on the fence. They didn't know which way to go, either the horrible white supremacist, misogynist, racist, xenophobic, transphobic, horrible pure party that's trying to take away civil rights, human rights, women's rights, educational rights, and a disbelief in science and math. Or the highly educated public servant who served at every level of government, from district attorney to attorney general to a state senator to the vice president of the United States,
Give it
who
to him.
literally had an entire plan for the American people and literally did a cross comparison with this ding dong behind you, his plan. And Project 2025 was brought up.
Yeah.
Every single thing that Kamala Harris said would happen has happened. Everything that Hillary Clinton said in 2016 has happened.
True.
And yet these people will continue to sit on the fence. And you know what happens when you sit on the fence?
Humpty
Eventually,
Dumpty? Oh.
eventually you fall. Yes. And And most of these people that are supporting him are white males. So those balls hurt when they hit that fence.
Well,
Let's
you know,
just
Jim.
be real.
You know, Jim. I told myself this, and I think it's true. I don't think a lot of the people who supported Donald Trump, they're going to be honest with us when we start putting the pressure on them. And I think that last guest, in my honest opinion, if I could do it, he probably voted for Donald Trump, but he's too ashamed to admit it because he actually said something. He said he's a Christian. You heard him say that, right?
I did.
Yeah, because when it gets down to it, they know Donald Trump is a con artist. They know he's a fraud. And they know the jig is up. So yeah, I don't believe him, honestly. Just like maybe he didn't serve in the military. I don't believe any of that. I think these folks are at this point, they're trying to look for some way of being accepted back into society. What do you think?
I agree 1000%. I've been saying lately too, have you noticed the number of people that come up onto panels and say they're from California all of a sudden?
Oh,
all
really?
of them with their hillbilly accents, and they're trying to say they're from California. It's like, you're not from California, sir. You're trying to say you're from California because that's what the Heritage Foundation told you to say, because Gavin Newsom is the greatest threat to you right now.
Oh, really?
That's right.
I didn't.
Yeah, because they're trying to fight against, Prop 50. So if you're from California and you're voting on November 4th, please remember to vote yes on Prop 50. Because when there's fire, you fight fire with fire. It's called a controlled burn. That's
Boom,
right. That's what Gavin
boom,
Newsom's
boom. Give it
doing,
to him, Jim. Wow.
So let's have an honest conversation, because one of the things he also said, and I clocked it right away, was he was talking about how he grew up in poverty. So did J.D. Vance, and they literally all of a sudden have forgotten what it's like to be hungry. So let's starve other children, right? Our greatest asset in this country, may I remind the Southern folks, are our children. Yes, that's it. That's our greatest asset.
Boom.
Our children are being dumbed down. They're taking away the Department of Education from your children. You're not paying attention to that. They're taking away your medical from your children.
Oh.
They're taking away access to food from your children. They're taking away birth control. They're taking away access to medical care for the very vessel that takes the process of having children. That would be you're the mother of your children.
Wow.
And the fact that you don't comprehend that, and I am from California, so let me be very clear. The fact that all of you are voting for people that are willing to harm the very people you claim to love shows me that you are not awake. You are not aware. You do not have the comprehension level of even a gnat that knows it needs to land on fruit to eat. So this is the problem with the MAGA party. This is the problem with third-party voters, or couch sitters, that I like to call, the far leftists who sat on their couch and failed to do what they were supposed to do to literally protect the country. Vote. The things that our ancestors fought for. The vote, the voice of the people, we the people for the people.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting idly by and watching your country get taken down by this, then you are the problem. And I'm tired of everybody saying it's just Trump. It's not just Trump. If you are sitting in your living room every single day, watching the degradation of our country, watching the education system be demolished, literally special needs children are no longer going to be able to attend school to even get the simplest of humanity, to be outside of their home and be socialized with other people and have access to education, love, and compassion from good teachers of this country, then you are part of the problem.
Thank you, Jim.
We have got to be aware of what's happening, and it's not just the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Trump is not at the helm, y'all. Some of those dogs are meowing. Meow. They're meowing. They're not there. They're not barking. They're not guarding. They're not protecting. They're meowing.
Yeah.
So let's be very clear. The MAGA movement isn't just about Donald Trump. The MAGA movement is a domestic group that is literally harming the American people for it's selling us out to the highest bidder.
True.
You don't have to ask me. It comes right out of his own mouth. When he's standing on a stage with Qatar and Saudi Arabia, when he's literally joining forces for Live Golf, when he's literally giving $40 billion to Argentina, when he's literally calling Putin his buddy and little Kim Jong-un Rocket Man his friend. These are the people that he's selling your country to. I don't care if you are a Democrat or a Republican. You are part of the problem if you are sitting idly by thinking that this is no big deal.
Amen.
This isn't the same status quo that's been happening.
Yeah.
You have literally religious zealots that have literally infested the American Constitution. You have literally they have people that have infested the United States government, and they are harming American citizens. And I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but there was a man, a 67-year-old man in his vehicle. He's a known marathon runner, and he was, oh my God, thank you so much. He was literally driving his car, and ICE yanked him out of his car. 6 or 7 of them had their knee on his neck, on his back. They broke 6 of his ribs. This wasn't a migrant. This wasn't a criminal. This was a marathon runner that can at 67 years of age. So this is not, the criminality is on the side of the people running the government right now. The criminality is the people that are being badged, that do not have the training or probably the record to do so. These are not ICE agents. These are probably the 1,600 people he paroled that he is ordering his goon squad to commit crimes against American citizens and migrants alike. Our tourism is down. Our economy is down. The fake bolstering, let me tell you what happened yesterday in the stock market for all of you who don't pay attention. They literally did a little twist and turn so that Jeff Bezos' wealth went up, and the stock market made it look like he was doing something good only to invest in himself. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Jeff Bezos' wealth as of yesterday. It went up to over $240 billion just yesterday. So start paying attention to who they're increasing the wealth for. And I want to remind everybody that your Republican Congress, your Republican House and Senate are sitting there getting paid every single day, and they didn't work but 20 days in the House. The Democrats are showing up every day. They're doing their job saying, let's work this out. And when you're in the majority of the Congress, you are supposed to negotiate with the minority party. That is your job, to govern, to literally create legislation for who? The American people. Not for you, not for some people, the American people.
But Jim, no, don't do that. Don't give us Social Security and stuff like that. We want a government that doesn't have to take care of the people. Remember, we don't do that. Not the American people. Please don't, Jim.
Thank you for bringing me back to my point, because I kind of got off track there. What he said earlier was that they didn't want a bloated government.
Yeah.
Did you hear him say that?
Yeah.
He said, we didn't want a bloated government. Do you know that not only did they give the $40 billion to Argentina, but they gave $172 million for 2 jets for Homeland Security? At what point in history have you ever heard of Homeland Security getting their own jet? Not just 1, but 2.
Oh, wow.
When did you hear that?
I've never heard that before. But that part of the will of the people? Is that the will of the people right there?
I don't know. Can you eat the jet?
No.
Is it going to heal you?
No.
And I want to remind people, the ballroom, I don't think the ballroom's going to be a ballroom, just for everybody else to know. God. Not going to be a ballroom. And I brought this up in your live a couple days ago. Not only is there already a ballroom, literally called the Mellon Auditorium, that's used for all ballrooms, all dances. Yeah. I mean, there's a famous picture of John Travolta and Princess Di dancing in said Mellon Auditorium. I mean, it already exists. It is a lie like every other thing he's ever told you. Don't believe me? Google the Mellon Auditorium. Yeah. It's literally on Constitution Drive, roadway, I don't know, whatever the hell it is. I don't go to Washington. But it's already there. It's a lie. It's all a lie to literally have the okey doke moment, to look over here, look away, don't look what we're really doing, which is literally stealing and laundering your tax dollars for our benefit. Yeah. That's what's happening. And I want to go back to federal taxes. Federal taxes were created and are used for the American people, for the betterment of the collective good. They are not supposed to be used by the President of the United States as his personal pocketbook. They are not supposed to be given as quid pro quo to Argentina and his buddies. They are for the American people to receive programs, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, health care, roadways, infrastructure. U.S. military is the largest social government program we have to ensure that our borders are protected here and abroad. What part of that have we forgotten? And if you don't like it, then stop saying as a Republican that you're patriotic and you support the U.S. military, because you don't. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the people that are in the U.S. military,
Who
guess
are they?
what they have to use, Zeus?
Don't say any kind of government social safety net, Jim.
Oh my God, they have to use SNAP programs and WIC to feed their families.
Oh, Lord. Jim,
And all the
stop.
Republicans
Jim,
in
stop.
there-
Stop it, Jim. Stop it. Because that right there goes totally against what that guy just talked about and the other Trump voters. They say that our men and women, they said no American should have to use those programs.
Well, you know what? Not only Americans, your U.S. service members are using them to feed their children, women, infants, and children. That's what WIC stands for. For all of you who don't even understand what it stands for women, infants, and children. It is a program that is set up so that when women are pregnant, they can receive sustenance, vitamins, minerals for the growing fetus that's in their body to ensure that when said infant gets here, it can then receive formula, because sometimes that working mother has to go to work, so they give them formula so that they can actually feed their infant. And then that infant becomes a child.
Yeah.
And that child needs things like carrots and peanut butter and milk to survive.
Yeah.
So that program was literally created to ensure that the neediest of our nation, women, infants, and children, were protected and fed. And the fact that you guys do not understand what these programs represent is literally to give sustenance to the very people that one day will be the leaders of your country, to ensure that they have brain power and folic acid and vitamin D in their system so that they can grow. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It is. And the fact that our U.S. military service members and their family require SNAP and WIC because the U.S. military does not pay them enough to sustain their family should make every single one of you disgusted that they are moving funds from the military budget to literally fund ICE, to literally fund other programs while they starve more children.
Wow. W, Jim. You know, and it's sad, but now that you said it, it sounds like some of these people might not be getting enough folic acid. Is that what you just said? Because the way their brains aren't working correctly. You just got to say they're malnourished. W, Jim.
I also want to touch on something that makes me just my blood boil, and I'm glad you said that you couldn't be sure, because he literally said, "I'm a Christian and I'm a veteran. I served 20 years, but you're sending me to hell." Here's the thing. Just because you put on a uniform does not mean you deserve the respect that uniform entails. You chose to put on a uniform, and then you chose to literally support a man who told you were nothing but a sucker and loser. Wearing that uniform and taking the oath means that you are to serve with integrity and honor, to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. The moment you turn your back on the U.S. citizens and the moment you forget your oath, you are no longer a respectable veteran. You have literally become a traitor to the Constitution you swore an oath to protect.
Amen.
Let me be very clear. Every real veteran who swore an oath knows that to be true, and they served with people who harmed their units, who didn't follow orders, and who put people at risk.
Amen.
You do not follow unlawful orders.
Don't do
you
it.
follow the lawful orders that
Amen.
protect your unit, your country,
Amen.
your fellow man.
Amen. 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 W, Jim. No lies detected. This is what we need more of. Wow, you hit it out of the park. And you know what, Jim? I got to say thank you, because, you know, when I have those conversations, I juggle it. I go, okay, we're not going to get the live taken down. So we're going to try to be, you know, reasonable and sensible. And what you just did, you basically came up here and took him to task, nailed every point, and countered it to the point where you've purified the live once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got to give Jim a huge round of applause. I don't like it when people get up here and disgrace the kingdom like that previous guest did with his ignorance. All right, so I want to say thank you. All right, seriously.
I love you to pieces. I want to go back to one more point, because this is really important. And when people don't understand the Constitution, and when people don't understand how math works, Snuggles literally came up and admitted that they had a vote of 55 to move the nation forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, but the Democrats Well, math matters, right? There's
Yeah.
only 100 U.S. citizens.
Correct.
So if 55 voted, the majority voted for it,
Yeah.
and 45 voted against it, math matters. And in the U.S., there is a requirement for 60 votes for some things.
Yeah.
But there's also a thing called the filibuster.
Correct.
And the filibuster is used so that the America's business can be moved forward. The fact that they are not compromising and the fact that they are choosing to keep the government closed should tell you all you need to know, that they are up to no good and they're doing it to harm the American people. We already know that Adelita Guarajava should have already been sworn in so that she could serve the people of Arizona, and they are not doing that for a reason. And when you sit by and you continue to support an administration that continues to harm the American people and then point the finger at someone else, there are three fingers pointing back at you. You have a responsibility per your oath as Congress members to literally protect the American people. And this Republican Congress, both senators and House representatives, have literally forgotten that they have a co-equal branch of government power to go against the sitting president. And they have chosen to abdicate that. And literally in every interview they speak of, they literally say that they're forwarding the president's agenda. That is not normal. That is not acceptable. And no American should be okay with it.
Amen.
It has been exposed. You need to listen to what they are telling you. They are literally telling you that we are in bed with the devil. We are in bed with Trump, and we are not going to do the job for the American people. So come voting in 2026, I hope you register. I hope you vote blue across this country.
Amen.
And take back your nation to progress it forward and not send us back in time.
Amen.
Because when you are a successful nation, the only thing that can take us down is if you let it get taken down by corruption and greed
Amen.
and hate and pain.
Amen.
With that, I have to go. I have a medical appointment. I have
Okay.
surgery today. So
All
I
right.
love you.
All right. Love
Bye,
you too.
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, WGM of a Jewel. No lies detected. See, there's always a method to the madness over here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we got to get these people to actually confess with their lips. All right, what's really going on inside of them, and then you know what we'll do? We'll take them to task. All right, so that's another huge W, Zeus. All right, I mean, this is real. By the way, and see, I knew they were going to do it. Their feelings got hurt, Jim, when you were talking, so they reported the live. Wow, I mean, they reported the live, so I've been flagged. You see what I'm saying? Michael Cohen, I see you. What's going on, champ? All right, I've been flagged, all right? And see, and this is why I say somebody has to do the hard part of having and saying difficult things that I can't, all right? Yes. I don't know if you want to say something, Mr. Cohen, or not, but if you did, go ahead and send Big Zeus a guest request. We'll get you right on up here. If not, I understand you want to lay low, all right, because it is what it is. All right, let me move on to the next panelist. Oh, my goodness. Who do we got next, ladies and gentlemen? All right, I wanted to check in with my good friend, Brother Val. Welcome, Val. How are you doing?
How's it going today?
I'm doing
I gotta
well.
follow my sister. Why do I gotta
Yes.
follow my sister?
Oh,
Why I gotta
because
do
you
that?
know what you all do. All right, it's necessary at this point. Seriously.
the thing is this: in a country right now where we're sitting with what's now going to end up being 4 months of minus job figures by the
Yeah.
time it's all over said and done with. That's the prediction from ADP yet again.
Mhm.
So we're gonna and we're gonna sit here and say we win when we're sitting into times that the stock market
Yeah.
is being actually manipulated right in front of our face.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to sit here and go, oh, he's doing a great job, the stock market. Well, any economist will tell you the stock market is not a great indicator of the economy. And we have used the stock market in many different ways, but this is the reason. What you're seeing right now is the reason.
Yeah.
Because ever since stock buybacks have become a thing, you can manipulate the market.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. Hey, because the fiduciary of any company
Yeah.
is to protect their investors.
That should be what it is, right? That should
Yeah.
be-
Well, they're doing it.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the billionaire investors,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They're protecting their boards.
Mhm.
That's where, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're watching in real time.
So you're not buying him saying, because Trump said our GDP next month is projected to be like 4%. You're not buying that?
Yeah. Well, that may be the case if we're selling military equipment to Qatar.
Wow. And anything is possible right now because he's basically surrendering the country.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that's not possible.
Yeah.
But is that military equipment doing anything for the American people? Is it actually creating jobs?
No.
These are the things that we have to look at. Yeah, we have a lot of assets we can sell off as our GDP up because we're selling off assets.
Mm-hmm.
How much did Qatar pay to have their own section on a U.S. military base? How much was that?
Yeah.
These are the things that could also manipulate GDP.
Yeah.
But we've got to, what I'm saying? We've got to come to a realization in this country because what Jim was talking about in the Constitution and reading the Constitution, what everybody failed to talk about was the preamble of the Constitution, and actually protecting the welfare of the people. Everybody forget that part?
Yeah.
This is the part that these people don't seem to understand. The subversion to the Constitution, the first, even the second, the third, the third hasn't been, we haven't quartered any soldiers yet, but all of these things were designed for us the government to protect.
Yeah.
And we do that by paying in our tax dollars.
Yeah.
We have another situation in government right now with the BBB that our our effective tax rate in this country is going to go down again.
Yeah.
After 4 years of Biden getting it up 4%, we're going to lose all that 4% plus again, and then we're going to increase our debt.
Wow.
This is reality. And the more, and Michael can speak on this too, the more we increase our debt, okay, the worse things are going to get for the American people, especially in credit ratings or for the value of our dollar, the value, you know what I'm saying? It's absolutely going to hurt the American people in the end. What happens if our dollar loses another maybe 10%? And that's what they're projecting, by the way.
Amen.
The dollar to lose another 10% of its value. That's insane.
Wow. Well, listen, Val, you're on point, and we got our guest. You woke him up. You brought the beast, Michael Cohen, up here. Welcome, Michael Cohen. All right, welcome to the show.
Hello, my friend Zeus.
Yes.
It has been a day. It's been a day since I spoke to you.
Yeah, it's been a while, but you've been making your rounds as usual. So keep up the good work. All right, now we're engaging in meaningful dialogue. Is there anything you would like to get off of your chest, perhaps, and address? All right, because
I'll tell you, I was floating around here on TikTok. I try to do that every now and then. I'm spending most of my time now on Substack because exactly what happened to you with the violations on this platform, which is basically being manipulated by our government. And, it's really terrible, right? Don't forget, Trump, in essence, saved TikTok from being shut down here in the States with the sale and so on. So, of course, they want to do what they believe is the smart thing for them, payback, instead of coming to the Oval Office like Tim Cook did with 5 pounds worth of gold, instead of what we're seeing now, like Qatar providing Trump with a $400+ million aircraft. That's going to cost the U.S. taxpayer another $1.5 billion to retrofit it. Instead of, for example, South Korea providing Trump with a crown and a gold necklace, what they're doing is they're stifling free speech like yours. The last time that I was on myself on TikTok, I was basically reading a New York Times article, and all of a sudden, boom, right across the top comes a warning that I'm violating community guidelines. Now, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm reading the New York Times. What's the problem with that? Well, clearly something I must have said hit the algorithm that is hypersensitive right now as it relates to this Republican Party. But I do want to really spend the time, and I commend you for sticking it out, because it's extremely frustrating when what you want to do is you want to reach a community like you're doing, like you keep doing day after day. You want to reach the community to ensure that truth to power is emanated so that there's fairness to both sides. Yes, they are both sides of the fence. They can do it. You watch Fox News. It is a pile of horse shit that comes out every single day, where you have Jesse the jerk-off Waters, and then you have the other little dude, that's sitting there, Greg Gutfeld, spewing all sorts of lies and promoting it as truth. Where I stand.
Well, listen, you just heard a bunch of their feelings, sir, and I don't know how you feel about doing that, but Fox News is a very reliable source, and it's educating a lot of his base, and so don't you feel a little sad about what you just said about? Because I see them in the comment section, they're getting super triggered. You don't feel sad about saying stuff like that?
You talking to me?
Yeah, because that Fox News, they need that. All right, it's.
Look, let me be very, very clear on it. When you turn around and you refuse to acknowledge that what they are doing is they are bribing Trump, and it's not just foreign countries. We're also talking about domestic companies like Apple, like Tim Cook. So to those maggots that are sitting here and getting triggered by what I'm saying, I want to be crystal clear. I would like to know what your position would be if Joe Biden received, forget Joe Biden, all right, fuck him. He's not president anymore. Any Democrat in the history of this country, any Democrat in Washington, D.C. would receive a 5-pound piece of gold. So, because most maggots can't actually do math, let me kind of do it for you, right? Because you need to be spoon-fed reality. There are how many ounces in a pound, maggots? Okay, 16 ounces. How much is an ounce of gold right now, today, spot price? That's $4,031 per ounce. I know this is math. It's tough for you. 1 + 1 = 2, right? Let me be clear. You take 16 ounces, you multiply it times 5, multiply that times $4,031 per ounce, and you get approximately $235,000. I'm sorry, $335,000. All right? Let me be crystal clear. Anybody who receives a $300,000+ gratuity, there needs to be a problem identified. And I hope that each and every one of you could understand that it's wrong. All right? The President of the United States is not supposed to be receiving this. Now, the question that I would then like to ask as well is whether or not that 5-pound gold base, whether or not this gold crown from South Korea, whether or not that gold necklace is going into the Trump library, or is it going into the Trump safe over at Trump Tower? That's all that I'm just trying to find out here.
Michael, we all know where that 5-pound bag went.
Yeah, along with Tom Homan's cash.
Oh my God! I mean, this is W. Val, W. Michael Cohen. So Donald, you believe Donald Trump is ripping the government off? Y'all believe that? Do y'all really believe that?
Absolutely. I mean, here you go.
Wow.
I mean, it's truly the emoluments clause be damned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you really get down to it, I mean, it truly is. And but here's where we're at.
Before you go on, Val, can I just say something here? So there's a lot of maggots that I must have triggered. They're like, "Oh, Cohen, you should get a calculator, right?" And so on. So I actually just punched it up onto my computer as I'm sitting here and talking to you. Yeah, 16 times 5 times 4,031 is 322,480. Oh. I said 325. So you know what? Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have gotten an A on it, but sitting there doing it in my head, motherfucker. All right,
you use the word roughly.
That's pretty close, and I did use the word approximately.
Wow. Yeah, so there you go. So I mean, I don't know what their problem is with that.
Because math
I know math.
is something.
Math's a problem.
There's an expression. Numbers don't lie. People do.
You know,
and
like
they don't
Fox
like
News.
anything. They don't like anything that holds them to account.
Right, yeah, like Fox News, they think 2 + 2 is 22.
Yeah.
But the
What were you? What, you were saying something, Val? What was that? Because I
Yeah,
because
I mean,
we're on the
talking
time
about-
crunch.
Yeah, I know, but when we're talking about all the you know, the gifts and everything that are going back and forth between the White House and
Yeah.
other countries, you know, we're forgetting about the cash too, right? I mean, we already know that in his first term there was almost just $6 million just from China.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? That went into his pocket. You know, so these are the types of things that are, yeah, in the end, I think when that report came out, it was $8 billion worth of stuff from different countries that he got that, you know what I'm saying, basically went into his pockets. And, you know, this is much worse now. I mean, I can't even imagine what he made in the whole crypto coin deal.
I can give you the answer.
Yeah, well, that I'd like to know because
I can give you the answer. I don't know why you're wondering. The facts are the facts.
It's hard to keep up with it though.
No,
honestly.
it's actually really not.
You
So
have
they
an app that you use, Mike, to keep up with these.
No, I just do my own research
Oh,
because I understand how the game kind of works here. First of all, you turn around, you take a look at Liberty Crypto. They've made over $834 million so far on this is transaction fees, just transaction fees alone off of this Liberty meme coin that has no legitimate value to it at all. Don't confuse that with the crypto exchange that they are now owners of, that they're doing it with that Don Jr. and Witkoff's son are both the CEOs of, co-CEOs. But that's just fees. But wait, this is a bad infomercial, Zeus, but wait, there's more. Where he's made a tremendous amount of money as well. The crypto, over $4 billion.
Get at no. You mean Biden did that?
Yeah, of course. Over $4+ billion. You know where he's made also well over $4 billion? More? Yeah, you know where? Truth Social. Truth Social. That stock, they constantly keep pumping it up. Yeah. And remember, he has, he has like 100 million shares, to his name. Just do the math, and then take the operating fees coming off of the crypto, the meme coin, Truth Social, and so on. They have literally made, and this is not, and it's not, there's no argument here. This is fact.
Yeah.
Since becoming president-elect, he has increased his net worth by approximately $10 billion.
Oh!
No. That's it.
I'm getting angry.
Just take a look. Just take a look at his reportings. All you have to do is go and you can see.
But I'm getting angry, Michael, because here's the thing.
Why?
Because there are millions of Americans who are starving right now because of the SNAP benefit situation. You heard about the SNAP thing, right? They're running out of money.
You think I don't know people? You think I don't know people who receive SNAP benefits?
Well, I didn't say you did it, but you're telling me he's making all this money, but then those programs, they say they don't have any money. And so this is why I'm getting angry, because
Well, no.
like
There's a difference. There's a difference between the money that he is collecting and the amount of money that is supposed to go into these government programs that they're not funding because government is shut down, right? There's a very big difference. They're two completely separate tranches. They shut down money for what they're claiming to be fiscal responsibility. So sure, let the hungry go hungry. I wrote about it in one of my Substacks. I know what it's like when they remanded me unconstitutionally back to Otisville because I refused to waive my First Amendment constitutional right.
Yeah.
For the first 3 days I was there, they didn't feed me at all. 3 days. So I know people say, yeah, it's only 3 days. I challenge anybody to understand when you're sitting inside of a cell, no movement at all, nothing, no food, nothing. You start to feel it in your bones, in your soul. There's a sense of despair that comes over you that the pain from that hunger is enormous. I can't imagine 17 million children, even if you're fucking heartless, even if you don't care about humans, you don't care about adults, Do you not care about children?
No, we've witnessed that in the past, right? I mean, it was asked by Hillary Clinton years ago, can we get it done for the children? And we all remember the outcome of that, right? No, they could not.
Yeah.
You know, and these are the things that I talk about all the time. You know what I'm saying, with government and everything that keeps going on. But the theft of our government and using the government office to enrich yourself has become a massive problem in this country. You know, things like Citizens United, it has to go away. It has to go away. Citizens United has got to be if they take over, and if we take over in 2026, Citizens United has to be on that list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more, right? It's more than just Citizens United. You got the Heritage Foundation that's going on over there.
But the Heritage Foundation exists and is able to grow because of Citizens United. That Citizens United is what's giving churches and corporations the capability to go through other avenues like that to be able to put money into that system to go to politicians. That's where that comes from. The Heritage Foundation is a big cause.
To be honest with you, I'm not so sure that it's Citizens United only. Let me be very clear. When you got guys who are worth $400 billion like Elon Musk, you know, and you turn around, if you look at just the inauguration, that front row, the front row of people that is sitting there between Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Bezos and so on, you have $1 trillion of net worth just in those three people who are throwing money at the guy like he's a stripper on a pole. All right? They're throwing money at him because they know what it takes in order to get him to answer the telephone.
Bands to make them dance. That's what it takes. And what a disgrace. Now, listen up, you two amazing gentlemen. We've reached the pinnacle where Big Zeus has to get up out of here. But, I'm sorry, we did it improvised, right? It was like Cohen was available. I was talking about, and we all had a good, real quick show. And I think it's incredible. Any last remarks from either, I'll let you both give out closing remarks, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, all right? And then,
go for it,
get up out of here.
Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Like I began this with, I'll end it with. We've got to quit justifying bad policy. It's got to stop. Or in the Republicans' case right now, no policy. Jim brought it up earlier. We have a government, a House of Representatives, that has been in session for 20 days out of 9 months. Actually, almost 10 months now. 20 days out of almost 10 months. This is behavior we cannot do. We talked about this before the election, how they only passed like 40 bills in 2 years, when the previous Congress passed over 400 bills. Okay, to actually help the American people, to get us out of what we're in. This Congress is feckless, and the American people deserve better, and they need to vote for better.
Amen. Amen.
Look, let me
go ahead, Cohen, your turn.
We all, as Democrats, as independents, and even Republicans, as you see, are beginning to strip away from this GOP talking points of government shutdown, the Epstein files, and so on. What we all need to do is we need to stop thinking that we as Democrats are going to be successful in the midterm 2026 elections simply by promoting the concept of we're good, Trump is bad. That didn't work the first time. It didn't work the third time. It's not going to work this time either. We need to stand up for our principles. We need to turn around and say, who do we care about? We care about the American people, all American people. Black, white, brown, tall, short, right, blonde, brunette, redheads. It doesn't make a difference. Gay, straight, it doesn't make a difference. We don't care if you're Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, Hindu. It doesn't make a difference. All we care about is that America continues on the path that we have been on for 250 years. 250 years of the greatest democratic republic experiment in the history of the world. We cannot allow the lies to continue to permeate our society. We cannot allow them to continue to regurgitate it day in and day out. What we need to do is stand up for our own principles and don't overcomplicate them. Don't overcomplicate. Simplify them. Here's what we know. Trump has been successful in 3-word slogans, right? Build the wall, lock her up, right? Mass deportation now. I can go on forever. We need to do the same thing. For example, the economy. Why is the economy faltering? Because of tariffs. How about this one? Tariffs are taxes. Consumers pay tariffs. Plain and simple. And any time that a Republican turns around and tells you that these tariffs are good, tariffs are taxes. Consumers pay tariffs. Let's work on our own branding and stop thinking that we're going to win the midterms and so on simply by attacking Trump. It's not going to work.
Amen. Wow. Well, listen, you two. As always, you've ended this on a very high note, a very, very positive note, and thank you for both joining the show this
I think
morning.
I'm going to actually do one of these at 2 o'clock. So Zeus, if you're around, maybe you come join me.
Okay, you're going live at 2. We'll see what that
I think
can
I'm gonna
do.
go live
I might
at
be
2.
available. I might be, but where are you at? East Coast, West Coast? What's your time?
I'm
2
East
o'clock?
Coast.
Okay,
East
2
Coast,
o'clock.
New York City,
Well, make
born
sure-
and bred.
All right, well, make sure you check out what Michael Cohen's doing at 2, and if I can swing through, I will do that, brother.
Appreciate you,
all
my
right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, isn't that an incredible and amazing treat this morning? Thank you. Oh my God, you just never know how these shows are gonna go. And Michael and Val, thank you again. That was very generous of you both to share your time with each other in order to get the truth out here to all of these amazing and wonderful people. But I do agree, we as Democrats, we definitely need to get our messaging under control because bashing Donald Trump won't do it alone. All right, and a lot of it means we got to dial back our judge. You know, we get to be a little too judgy sometimes. We could judge each other a little too much to a fault. This is serious business. Every vote does count, and we got to do what it takes. It's going to be dirty, but we got to do it, all right? So that's another huge W. Zeus. Right, Shay? I'm speaking honest. All right, so I want to give all of you who listened today, this was a weird but tough show, all right? We did what we had to do. We had a first guest came up here, just showed us all how ignorant he was. Hurts my brain to even revisit what he went through, but we did that. WVIP. But I want to give a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists, honestly, because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. It's definitely entertaining, it's engaging, and very, very educational, as you can see. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame, and you know exactly who these booze and shame goes out to. I told you it was the Thunderdome. I did. I said grab your shields or whatever, because you never just know how these shows are going to go. But this last round of booze and shame, it goes out to that very first guest and anybody that thinks just like him. W. Kabir, oh my God, you guys are so amazing. I love you all. If you are and I'm going to call you a Zeus hater because you're voted for Donald Trump, but you're too embarrassed to admit it. It's that you didn't vote for Donald Trump, all right, but you went and voted third party or you sat out because you couldn't bring yourself to vote for Kamala Harris. As far as I'm concerned, you're a disgrace. You're a Trump voter. And I could get into trouble for that, but somebody has to say it because it's the energy right here out here in these streets. That's how a lot of people feel. Or it's the last one, right? Just somebody who's just totally ignorant and doesn't want to actually come clean and admit that they failed their country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send the Zeus haters where they belong, straight to hell. Yeah, I can get into trouble, okay.
Silence, you macadamia.
All right, and on that note, we're out of here. Take care and stay safe, and let's listen to some more 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. I see you, Lady Boss. Thank you for all you do, all right? I really do appreciate you. You too, Kabira.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Y'all do a whole lot.
Gotta wait to change. Get injected with some power.
Thank you. Turn up, ladies and gentlemen. 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. We're out of here.
Came from the trenches, now we ballin' at the top.
Have a great rest of your morning.
Watch
the ops.
Drip too saucy, got the fit, hitting real different. 1600 on the throne.
Out here looking brilliant.
No skitty.
Hey, I'm the goat, flow sharper than a blade.
For attacks, make these clowns pay for all the shade. Bustin' moves, no mid, got the game. choke. Yeeted the doubt, now my legacy hitting this bespoke. From the Bay to DC, I keep them on their toes. Level up with the blueprint, watch the empire grow. Goes to all the fates, now my circle ain't one. Move it 100 years, this race is already won. Bet I'm dripping, got the power, vision crystal clear. Think with ambition, yeah, making history right here. Ops talking wild, but they cannot touch the throne. Trapped it in the Oval Office, trap it in the zone. Skirt past the hate, got my foot on the gas. I'm bulletproof, yeah, my aura is built to last. Slap with the plan, moving chess, not checkers. Presidential flex, got the game on the necklace. Level up, we taking over the spot.
I don't know how I come up with lines like this, ladies and gentlemen, but it just shows you I'm the real deal. All right, all W's for Zeus, ladies and gentlemen, seriously.
Posted in the Capitol, moving like I own the block. Riz game presidential, got the nation in the lock.
Hey!
Yeah, 100, no facade, drip celestial, shining brighter than a star.
Slap with the moves, turn your dreams into chandeliers. You ever see somebody do that? That's crazy, right? To think about 1600, I'm the one flexing, I'm the new successor, right hand? Yay, I see ya.
In the White House, DC is the town. Woke up in the mansion, views from the East Wing. Prime presidential, residential, got the poles in the climb.
Wow! Who could do that except for Big Zeus?
Storm got the globe, dropping bombs like I'm reading out a song. Pops trying to glitch, but my code is unshakable. Skee-Dee through the storm, legacy unshakable.
Wow! How did I do that?
Make the whole world flip, busting off the charts, got the game in a trance. Drip too wavy, yeah, make you wanna dance.
You know what I'm saying? I'll drop the album one of these days. You never know when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. All right? Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your morning. We'll be back tomorrow doing this. I see you, Speaking Fingers. We are